Okay, hello everybody. Thank you for joining this month's Trivy Office Hours, where we share updates from the latest release, as well as answer any of your questions that you might have. If you're watching this recording and you have any questions, do post them in the comments of any of the different parts that we're showing. You can also start a discussion on the GitHub repository, either for Trivy or the Trivy operator, or join us on Slack. The links are all going to be provided in the description of the YouTube video as well. If you're watching live or interacting anywhere, by the matter, on our social media channels from Aqua Security, if you're interacting with anybody on GitHub, please bear in mind that all interactions are within our code of conduct, which you can find in the community repository. Now, we are going to go basically through the latest release of the Trivy. Maybe Ren has some. Oh, Ren is not. Yeah. Joining. Anyway, sometimes we also share specific updates from the Trivy operator. So if you have any questions, anything you would like to discuss with the team, if you want us to prioritize, for example, certain issues, certain requests, or talk to us further about that, you can join the Trivy Office Hours. You can post it in the discussion before and to let us know what you want to discuss so we can also prepare for it. So that's kind of how this works. Now I'm going to share my screen. And gonna start off with a demo that I have from Ren. Ren couldn't join live this time. So this is basically the updates for the deprecation scans of Kubernetes YAML manifests. So basically, when we have a Kubernetes YAML manifest, such as this import JSON file, well, in this case in JSON, but basically any Kubernetes resource, all of the resources are within an API. So part of that Kubernetes API. Now, this is one of the default APIs. This cron job is part of that. There's different default APIs in Kubernetes, if you're familiar with Kubernetes. And then you obviously also have custom extensions to the Kubernetes APIs and frameworks and resources. But basically, a lot of times with new Kubernetes releases, things change around in how the resources are supposed to be set up, the different fields within the different resources, as well as, sometimes just some certain types don't exist anymore. And then it's difficult if you want to deploy something to your cluster. It's difficult to know whether it will work within your cluster or whether the resource will fail. Because if you deploy a deprecated resource to your latest Kubernetes cluster version, then it might fail. So in this case, we are basically scanning that with Trivy config, with the Trivy misconfiguration scan, we're scanning that input manifest for Kubernetes version 1.20. As you can see, there's nothing that, it doesn't detect that this is an outdated version. There's nothing that changed in regard. So right now for 1.20 at the time, the Kubernetes version, this YAML manifest would have been completely valid and you could have deployed it to your cluster. So in this case, no issues have been found for this particular Kubernetes version for this YAML manifest. So everything would have been fine if you deployed it, if your cluster runs 1.20 of Kubernetes. Now, if you are using one of the latest version of Kubernetes, and I hope you use a later version of that, you might want to check if the YAML manifest that you want to deploy, if the Kubernetes resource still works. So in this case, we're scanning for Kubernetes version 1.21. And in that case, it tells you that current job is no longer part of the Kubernetes API version batch version 1 beta 1. So you would have to update it. Current job is now, I don't know which API it's part of, but you can check out the Kubernetes documentation to see how the API version that you have to define in the manifest changed. Now, this is really good if you're using third-party resources that might not have been kept up to date, because then you can basically cross-check if that would run within your cluster before breaking things. So that is the first update from the latest release. Let me stop sharing. If there are any questions, please feel free to unmute yourself or comment in the chat box, or if you're watching the recording, to just put it in the comment section. Awesome. Tepe, you want to go next?
Yeah. I'll quickly go over the release notes of the version 0.38. First of all, we completed the Docker CI benchmark. One sec, I enabled my video. Yeah, in the previous version, we added support for Docker CI benchmark. It checks like misconfiguration or vulnerabilities, secrets on the container images. You can pass the -- compliance CLI flag, like -- compliance, Docker CIS. But the previous version was missing some checks, especially for vulnerabilities and secrets on Docker files. But now we've added support for that. So I'll share the demo. One sec. Share my. Okay, this one. Okay, you can see my terminal. Okay, let's run the Trivy image subcommand with the -- compliance Docker CIS. This image has several vulnerabilities, secrets, and misconfiguration. So now you can see 4.4 and 4.10. This is about security patches. This is 4.4. It's showing fail. It's critical, and also the secret was detected in Docker file. So yeah, it complies with the CIS Docker benchmark. Let's see what vulnerabilities was detected. Yeah, this is Alpine old version, and Trivy detects one vulnerability about APK tools, and its severity is critical. So the compliance report also shows this image is not up to date. You should apply the security patches. And also, okay, going back a bit, Docker inspect command, you can see the configuration of this container image, the CIS test, and it shows, configuration. And as you can see, this container image has a secret in Docker file. The environment variable shows GitHub token. It's dummy, so it's safe, but yeah, so it was detected. It's detected. So compliance report also shows the failure. Yeah, like this. Yeah, this is one of the new features. The next is about Go dependency tree. I'll share. Okay, so Trivy can detect vulnerabilities in your Go project. If you scan Go module, you can see vulnerabilities, but sometimes it's difficult to address this vulnerability. For example, in this case, the two vulnerabilities are found in container D, medium severity. But let's see the Go module. Yes, this is as you can see, the container D is indirect dependency. I mean the transitive one. So this project doesn't depend on container D directly. So it's a little bit difficult to bump container D version. Of course, you can use a replace directive, but it's not ideal. If you start that, maybe your Go module will have a bunch of replace directives in the future. So the best is bump the dependency using container D. So it now Trivy adds support for Go dependency tree. So you can see which dependencies are using container D. Okay, let's pass the -- dependency tree flag with the Go module. Now you can see the tree at the bottom. It's a reverse tree, not like the forward tree. It shows vulnerable packages on top, like AWS DK Go and Container D, and it shows which dependency depends on this vulnerable package. So here you can see Open Policy Agent, OPA, and Helm. They are using Container D. So if also it shows the direct dependencies. It means this project uses OPA and Helm. So you can easily bump Helm and OPA. Then Container D will be also bumped. And if it's not, you have to raise an issue, a pull request in OPA or Helm. But anyway, if you bump them, Container D will be also bumped, and these vulnerabilities will be addressed. So yeah, it's really helpful to address vulnerabilities. Then also in this release, we added the dependency tree support for Poetry, a Python package manager, and Ruby bundler, the Ruby package manager. So you can use -- dependency flag with Ruby and the Python. Like the same, you can just pass the CLI flag and then you will see the tree. So this is the next one. And the third demo is a completion. Now Trivy have a command for completion, Trivy completion. It supports bash and fish, PowerShell and Zesh. So in this demo, it's using bash. So Trivy completion bash shows how to use that. Of course, you can write it to the configuration file, but in this demo, I will load it in my current shell session. It's easy, just the source Trivy completion bash. That's it. So now it's enabled. So if you enter tab, you can see the subcommand candidates suggestion like this with help with the description. So okay, Trivy has a server subcommand for server mode. Also, it has SBOM for SBOM scanning. And also, if it has more subcommands under that command, like Trivy plugin has more subcommands like info, install, run, and install. So yeah, that's it. So pretty simple. Just if you are using Zesh, of course, you can create a completion for Zesh. It's quite easy. And at last, I'll show the new flag about the end of release, end of support. Okay. So let's say you scan Alpine 3.17.1. 3.17 is the latest version of Alpine, but it still shows many vulnerabilities, even including critical one. But if you scan Alpine 3.10, 3.13, it's obviously older than 3.17, but it doesn't show any vulnerabilities. It's definitely weird because it's older. So as you can see, it said like 3.13 is no longer supported by the Alpine maintenance. It means they don't provide any security advisories. So Trivy doesn't know 3.13 has vulnerabilities or not, especially about the newly disclosed vulnerabilities. So then it doesn't show anything. It doesn't show any vulnerabilities. but it's not good for you. You might want to be aware of the EOL OS. I mean, the OS at the end of support, end of the life. So we recently added a new flag, and yeah, minus exit on EOL. You can specify any exit code, 1 to 128, whatever, and pass the image name as usual. Then Trivy shows this OS is reaching end of life. Also, it exits with the specified exit code. So it exits with 1. So it means you can fail your CI job. Then you can know, oh, this OS version is no longer supported. So we should upgrade this version to, I don't know, 3.14, 15, the newer version. So this is a new flag about EOL. Yeah, that's it, I think. Yeah.
Awesome. Again, if there are any questions, you can always ask them in the comment section or on Slack, on the Slack channel. Or Noah, if you want to comment anything, feel free to unmute, but you don't have to. Thank you for joining. Sima, do you want to share something? I wasn't sure if you, yeah, awesome.
1 second. Okay. All right. I just wanted to, I guess, recap and reiterate and have a new, and also like to update a new feature that we added, mostly for, I guess, debugging purposes, but also to know what you're working with. So today we have a Trivy subcommand called Trivy version. So let's say if you were to download sort of air gap release of Trivy without any metadata, without any Trivy DB or policy bundle, and if you were to run this as is, you would kind of see something like that. That shows you the basic Trivy version of like the binary that you're working with. So then let's say, as you know, we now, or for some time, we've had packages for Trivy updates. We've had bundles that we download if you allow Trivy to download updates over the internet. And then that's how we get the Trivy DB to scan your vulnerabilities and stuff. So if I run this command with Trivy debug, you'll see that it downloads the DB, and then it does a scan for the specified directory that I've asked it to do. As part of this, it also persists the version and the metadata associated with the database, the Trivy database that it downloaded, and all the details on that. So you exactly know what you're dealing with and what you have stored locally. So this is all there. This is all great. We wanted to do something similar for the new policy bundle that we've added for Trivy for IAC scans, so infrastructure as code based scans. So let's say you're scanning your Terraform or Helm charts or what have you, and you, for the first time, you, let's say, started to scan that, as we talked about in the last call, and you might be familiar, we download policy bundles now on fly. So similar to TrivyDB, we also fetch the policy bundle, which contains all the policies for ISC scanning. and then this bundle is fetched and persisted to disk in a similar way to how TrivyDB is. So what we've added now is the ability for you to see what version of the bundle you're working with. So if you do run Trivy version now, you'll see the policy bundle digest and downloaded app in your Trivy version subcommand. This again will help you to deal with what you're working on, but also we fetch this bundle every 24 hours to get a latest one if there is one. So the next time you run it is basically cached and your scans are a lot faster than running the first time. So in case next time you're wondering what version of Trivy you're running or what version of policy bundle you're running, or if you have a problem with Trivy and you want to send us a bug report, we do mention that you send us the Trivy version output, because that would certainly help us to know exactly which vulnerability database, Trivy database you're using, and also which policy bundle you're using, so we can pinpoint exactly to what components you're working with. So yeah, just a small update on this. And yeah, that's all I got.
Awesome. Thank you. So Jose doesn't have a demo and Giovanni, you also don't have it. Okay. Cool. Noah, do you want to post your questions or you want to unmute yourself? Feel free to do either.
Yeah, I can share my screen and bring my questions about the Trivy operators. Yeah.
Everybody sees it?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so you're installing the Trivy operator through the Helm chart, standalone, true. I have never used
actually,
those.
we said it's not a standard true. It's a client and a server mode. So it's a false.
Okay. And then you have it in a different environment.
Exactly.
And then you have an audit environment.
Yes. STO means Trivy operator and the TS means Trivy server.
Okay. So it's like an air-gapped environment.
Yes, exactly.
Jose, have you worked with air-gapped environments?
We have a different development. That's our
yeah. Anyways, let me take a quick look before answering. Just 1 sec, please.
So it's my question is that after we deployed, we found the Trivy operator actually created another port inside that each environment. So my question is that possible that we can deploy it like we only have one Trivy server on one environment, then let them communicate to the Trivy operator in each environment. Is that possible or it's not possible?
Yeah, that should be possible. Yeah, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I was just clarifying what happened. You said you tried this and did it work, or sorry, I couldn't catch that piece.
No. Actually, I have sent another pictures. Can you share this is actually what happened now. The second one.
Yes, I'm going to share the other picture. No, you're seeing it.
Yes, this is what actually happened now. Is that we have two ports. One port is Trivy operator and one port is Trivy server. And we would love to collecting the scan report and send it to the different dojo. But the first one I have shared to you is that what we would love to be. But
so there's only one Trivy server that's kind of collecting everything similar to.
Yes, but we cannot manage it. So my question is that possible to configure like this, or so far it's like, this one is what we have now.
Yes, that's possible. I think like the problem is the Helm chart is doesn't support it, because in the Helm chart, when you asking to install Trivy operator with Trivy server, it's installing both at the same time. So you
Yes.
probably have to use the static installation where you can configure it to say, use this Trivy server URL. And as long as the network is working for it, it should work. Like I think with Helm right now, we would have to do some customization, but with the static installation, you would be able to do it.
But as every time when we start it, they will create another port inside this.
Yeah, with Helm, I agree. Like you will do it, and I don't think, at least like, yeah, I don't think like with Helm, the Helm installation, you can do it right now. We don't have this customization enabled. You need to use the static installation.
So it's that we install it without the Helm chart.
Exactly, yeah, using the static Trivy operator YAML. It's on the repository, the GitHub Trivy operator repository. Deploy, and also in the documentation, you'll be able to find it. But like it's deploy static, and then you have the actual YAML. If you use the YAML directly, you can point to the URL you prefer. With the Helm, you cannot do it. But like one thing I didn't understand, like, do you have the Trivy server already installed, or you want it to be installed with the Helm chart as well?
We are like this. We officially store in the Trivy operator in our EKS now, and we use the Helm chart, but we don't use Helm directly. We use Argo CD deployed, but it is use Helm chart. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think with the Helm chart, this will not work now.
So
but it should be a simple thing to fix, I think.
So don't use the Helm chart.
Yeah, so like if you install it with the static YAML, you can point to the Trivy server URL, whichever you want, and this architecture should work. Like you have a Trivy server installed somewhere, install Trivy operator on your environment with the static YAML, and just point the configuration to that Trivy server URL. This should work. But like really, like if you want to like show more examples and like and I can help you doing it like better with the text and everything, ping me on Slack, and then like I can show you how to do it.
Oh, fantastic! Appreciate, big appreciate. Okay, then I can talk to you in Slack channel directly, right?
Yeah, but like this should work. Like just so it's recorded, this should work as long as you're using the static installation right now. With Helm, we need to change something. I'll create an issue for it.
Okay, so we installed but don't use the Helm chart to.
Yeah, like unfortunately with Helm now, he will always install another Trivy server, right? Like he always deploy both at the same time.
Okay, I got it. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. So thanks.
Okay, amazing. Do also let me know what the fix is, what's working, so we can add it to the documentation, because I guess more people would want to do that in a larger environment, right?
Yeah, I will give you my feedback after.
Awesome. Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. I think this is it. If there are no more questions, again, if you're watching the recording and you have any questions, do comment them below in the YouTube under the YouTube video, or join us on Slack, or start an issue depending on what your question relates to. Now, these Trivy office hours are happening on a monthly basis on the second Wednesday of every month. So if you want to discuss anything, maybe your specific setup that is obviously not in the documentation, then do let us know, and we can look at it together and answer your questions through a Zoom call.
Yeah, big thanks.
Amazing. I hope everybody has an amazing rest of their day, morning, afternoon, evening, and to see you next time. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Thank you. Bye-bye.